Three
students from Westlake High had
Manny,
gone missing
Johnny,
in the
and
past
Jack.
month. The police
14,
were out
12,
on the hunt.
13.
Some said they'd been
That's
spotted
nuts.
at the abandoned mall on Route 16. Others whispered about a van circling the neighborhoods around school. Our parents started driving us to class. Teachers patrolled hallways during breaks, and the district implemented twice-weekly lockdown drills just to be safe.
Teacher gets taken.
The first thing I noticed wasn't
Surely
his
it's a bit
face.
racist if they
It was
do.
the smell.
'Cause
Copper
it's good
and
for
chemicals,
kids.
like pennies soaked in bleach. Our regular history teacher had been out sick for 3 days.
Guy, ugly.
The substitute, Mr. Rowan, carried himself differently from other teachers. While he wrote on the whiteboard, his sleeve inched up, revealing a dark stain his hasty washing hadn't quite removed. I was still staring, trying to piece it all together.
Yo, why is he always a ting, bro? I thought this guy's a guy.
Froze. This wasn't the half-hearted monthly drill tone. This was the shrill, pulsing wail they'd only tested once. The one that meant inescapable danger. "Everyone under your desks," Mr. Rowan said, unnervingly calm. He didn't look one bit surprised. As we scrambled for cover,
but I'm not good on the I'm cutting
through the classroom window.
I said under my desk.
Silently pulling
this
into
police,
the parking
I'm
lot.
going out.
Officers crouching behind vehicles, weapons drawn.
How am I staying inside where the guy is? Am I trying to die?
Those weren't positions for a drill. Mr. Rowan didn't follow protocol. He didn't check the lock or turn off the lights. Instead, he pulled down the blinds with deliberate slowness, watching the police through the narrow gap. Something changed in his face, a tightening around the eyes, a twitch at the corner of his mouth. That's how I knew they were here for him. I reached for my phone, but his hand clamped down on my wrist. His grip was crushing, nothing like a teacher's warning touch. "No phones, Hannah." His whisper had raised the hair on my neck. "I know you're a good girl." We hadn't done roll call. His other hand emerged from his pocket, holding a hunting knife. Not a small pocket knife, but a serrated tactical blade at least 6 inches long. The kind hunters used to gut deer. The fluorescent light caught its edge as he turned it slowly. "Everybody's phones now." Tyler caught my eye from beneath his desk. His jaw was set, and I recognized the look. The same one he'd had before breaking his arm jumping off Miller's cliff last summer. Reckless determination. I shook my head fractionally. "You know what's funny?" Mr. Rowan said, collecting phones in a metal trash can. "How easy it is. Walking in with a briefcase and a smile." He chuckled. "No one checks. No one inquires. You just say you're from the district office, and they hand you a classroom full of kids." A soft whimper came from somewhere in the room. He whirled toward the sound, nostrils flaring. "Shut up!" His voice changed, dropping any pretense of normalcy.
Listen.
"Or I'll give them something to find besides the janitor."
If so,
Janitor.
rotted.
I froze. Mr. Keller had been missing since Monday.
Oh, so he doesn't discriminate. Fair enough, bro.
Mr. Rowan?
Miss Riley's panic-filled voice boomed. In one fluid motion, he grabbed me, pressing the knife against my throat while pointing it threateningly at the rest of the class. His eyes swept the room with a promise that screamed, "Make a sound, and I start with her." Through the door's small window, I could see only Miss Riley's silhouette, not her face. She couldn't see what was happening inside either.
They're evacuating.
She's literally seeing through the glass, bro. What you chatting about?
Her voice dropped.
"Just stay put until officers clear your hallway."
Found what? My pulse roared in my ears.
The janitor.
Present, he called back. The moment she left, my chair creaked. I had shifted. His head snapped, pupils dilated so wide his eyes looked black. "You moved," he said, voice eerily childlike. "No one's supposed to move during lockdown." He lunged, grabbing my hair and yanking me up. The knife pressed under my jaw, cold metal against my pounding pulse. "All of you," he commanded. "Against the wall." My classmates stood up, trembling. "You're coming with me," he whispered in my ear, his breath hot and sour. Suddenly, Tyler launched himself from behind a desk, swinging the metal leg he'd twisted off his chair. It connected with the substitute's knee with a sickening crunch. The man howled, slashing wildly. The blade caught Tyler's arm, opening a gash that immediately bloomed crimson. But the distraction was enough. I slammed my elbow into his ribs and broke free.
"Everyone, get him!"
I lunged for the
That's what I'm
classroom
saying.
phone,
Listen, if
jabbing
he,
the emergency
bro,
button.
Tyler needed that open it. I'm telling you right now.
I
Swing,
slipped into the
bro.
receiver.
He's got a weapon. He's not.
So no one wants to grab the weapon.
The
Are they
substitute's
flipping?
face
He dropped the
distorted with
weapon.
rage. He
Oh,
looked toward me,
they deserve
knife
it.
raised high.
They deserve
I've
it.
got it, people.
Deserve to die.
He snarled, lunging forward, but Tyler tackled him.
Tyler is on
They
it,
crashed
fam.
into desks, a tangle of limbs and blood and fury. Other students joined in now.
So these men are just
Desperation
walking,
overcoming fear,
man.
throwing books, chairs, anything to slow him down.
So these men just
The
walking,
door
man.
burst open. 2 officers rushed in, weapons raised, shouting commands that blurred together in my adrenaline-soaked brain. The substitute was pinned, cuffed, dragged upright. As they pulled him past me, he turned, his face inches from mine, and smiled. Promising, terrible, like a death mask carved from flesh. "You disappoint me, Hannah," he whispered, so softly only I could hear. "I know where you sit, what you smell like when you're afraid." They shoved him forward, but he looked over his shoulder, mouthing 2 words. "Next time." Later, we learned the truth. Samuel Ketch was a man wanted in 3 states for crimes against kids and teenagers. He'd walked out of a maximum security psychiatric ward 2 days earlier, leaving 3 orderlies dead with their throats cut.
You are
the same
lying.
way they'd found Mr. Keller, our janitor, stuffed behind the boiler in the East Wing basement. The real substitute had been found in the trunk of his own car, 3 miles from the school.
Oh, it was...
Sometimes at night, I can hear that soft click of the box cutter. I've switched schools, but I check the substitute's cuffs every time a regular teacher is out.
Matt said she switched schools, bro.
I keep replaying that
I
moment
ain't
in my
skipping schools
head.
because
The
of that.
moment
I
when
just
Liam
need a
let
little
go of
area,
my
bro.
hand.
Bro,
The moment
dude,
I should
lost
have
a lot
held
of
on
time.
tighter.
Oh, carry something.
Be a
What
normal
the...
Friday.
Bro, what?
Mr. Carter droning on about quadratic equations while I texted Liam about
Yo,
weekend
I'm
plans.
beating it.
Just 2 more periods until freedom. No one saw it coming. Ryan had always been strange,
Yes, school
quiet,
shit.
lurking in corners, staring at people for too long. But he was just another weird student at our high school. People made fun of him, but I tried my best to be nice to him. We exchanged smiles a few times in the hallway until Liam told me that he was getting creepy vibes from him, and I stopped looking his way. Then he was lost in shadows. Until that day,
School shit.
the intercom came to life.
School shit, bro.
Attention, this is a
110%.
lockdown. This is not a drill. Please go to the designated safe areas immediately.
Bro, if this
At
was
first,
just
no
I'm
one
good
moved.
outside,
Then I
bro.
saw
I'm
Ryan
wasting my
sprinting
time.
past our door, a huge knife in his hand.
Bombo!
His hands were dripping red. The hunting knife in his grip glistened under the neon lights. But his eyes, God, his eyes, they were completely empty.
I call
Black
that
pools
scariest
that
thing I've
seemed to
seen
soak up the
is a
light
fat
around
guy
him. His lips
that could
were
run,
curved
bro.
into a smile.
If I see a fat guy like this and he runs and he doesn't die, I'll tell you right now, it's done already.
Mr. Carter rushed to the door. "It's jammed!" he shouted, panicked. Bang! Ryan slammed against the door, laughing. A high, childish giggle that didn't match the blood
I might as well
smeared
just give
across
up.
his
Fellas.
face.
There's no way
"Let
I'm beating
me
him.
in!"
There's no way I'm beating him.
He sang, voice lilting like a twisted nursery rhyme. "Let me in or I'll blow your pretty little heads off!" Liam grabbed my arm. "Noah, help me!" he yelled, dragging a heavy desk toward the door. We slammed it against the frame, just as Ryan's
Just break
knife
the
slipped
glass.
through the gap,
Okay.
narrowly missing my arm.
Yo!
"I can smell your fear, Noah, baby." Ryan sniffed through the crack, inhaling deeply.
Ugh.
"It's delicious."
Why'd you go
His
for
eye
Noah?
pressed against the small window in the door, bloodshot and unblinking. "I've been practicing for this day, Noah. The others didn't scream enough. I know you'll shriek." A chill ran down my spine
Oh,
as
so you're
his
doing
tongue
this
darted
close,
out, licking blood from his lips.
Mm.
Suddenly, we heard shouts in the hallway. Teachers and security
Yeah, don't
dashed
clock it.
in,
There's no one in the hallway,
momentarily
bro.
distracting the monster. Ryan stepped back, tilting his head like a curious animal. "Hide and seek," he whispered.
Hide and
"Ready
seek.
or not. Now!" Liam hissed, and we yanked the desk away and fled. The hallway was a nightmare. Sprinklers drenched everything, making the floor slippery with pinkish water.
Bro, yo.
Bloody handprints
Violator.
smeared one wall where someone had dragged themselves away. 2 freshmen huddled by the lockers, clutching bleeding wounds. "He cut us and then just watched," one whimpered. said something about loving our pain. Halfway down the hall, I saw Ryan standing motionless at the other end. Knife raised,
He's fat.
head tilted
Ryan
at
G
that
ain't got that much
unnatural
stamina,
angle.
bro.
He removed his hoodie, revealing a vest covered with wires and bulging packages. "No more running," he called, voice echoing.
Oh,
And
yeah,
softer,
long.
almost
Yeah.
intimate. "I need to see inside you, Noah." We ran. Liam slipped, crashing into the lockers. Before I could help,
Oh, allow it,
Ryan
fam.
was there, moving unnaturally fast, knife slashing. I swear his feet barely touched the ground. I ripped a fire extinguisher
Bro,
from the wall,
why is he not getting up,
connecting
fam?
with Ryan's shoulder. He didn't even flinch, just smiled
Oh,
wider.
he shanked him.
"That tickles," he giggled, eyes dilating. "Want to see what
Oh,
real
he
pain looks
fucking
like?"
dashed the finger.
He lunged at Liam,
Ah!
barely dodged the blade. By then, we had reached the
Big
emergency
man,
exit.
why is he not getting
Through his
up?
window, red and blue lights flashed. Help was waiting. Liam turned to me, face pale with terror. "You go first," he said, voice shaking. "No, we're going together." I grabbed
So
his
my man
wrist
just-
and he shook his head. "Don't waste time, hurry!" I stepped through
my
the
guy,
door,
my
cold
guy.
night air hitting my lungs.
I don't know what the hell his name
turned
is.
back, reaching for Liam, our fingers connecting. That's when I saw Ryan behind him, appearing like a shadow.
So he wants to
His
stay
eyes
behind.
met mine as
Flipping
his arm
idiot.
plunged forward. "No!" I screamed. The knife entered Liam's back. His eyes went wide, mouth opening in a silent
So that's his
gasp.
fault.
Ryan's face transformed with pleasure.
This guy's an idiot.
Eyes
Yo,
rolling
he
back
got
slightly as he
turned
twisted
on,
the
fam.
blade. His tongue darted out again,
He got
tasting the
turned
air
on,
like a
bro.
snake. "Beautiful," he sighed, as if witnessing something transcendent. The cops were running toward us now, but Ryan wasn't done. The blade flashed again, driving into Liam's side with a wet sucking sound. I couldn't let go of his hand. I couldn't. "Just hold on, don't let go," I begged.
What the?
Blood
What's he doing?
bubbled
Bro,
from
if
Liam's
that was
mouth.
me, I'm
Somehow,
swinging at
I
his head,
managed to
fam.
smile. "Live your life, mate," he whispered, his fingers going slack in mine.
Oh, he died.
And then he let go. I screamed as his hand slipped from mine, as his body crumpled onto the concrete.
Bro, I'm singing.
The cops tackled
I don't care,
Ryan,
burn that,
who
fam.
didn't resist. He just stared at me over their shoulders, smiling that unnatural smile. "I'll see you in your dreams, Noah," he said, voice carrying impossibly over the chaos. Hours later, I sat on the curb outside the school, wrapped in a shock blanket. Someone had washed Liam's blood from my hands, but I could still feel it, sticky between
Okay,
my
that's his fault. He
fingers.
could have saved his friend.
The paramedics couldn't save Liam. He was gone before they even closed the ambulance doors. As dawn
Nah, he
broke,
could've
I
saved his
stared
friend.
at
This
his
guy's an
bloodied
idiot.
school ID, trying to focus on his smile rather than Ryan's words. Sometimes at night, I still feel Liam's hand slipping from mine. I wake up grasping at air, trying to hold on tighter this time, but I can't. And somewhere in juvenile detention, Ryan waits. The guards report he doesn't sleep, just sits perfectly still, staring at walls, smiling. Sometimes, in the darkest hours of the night, I swear I can feel him watching me through the miles between us. And in my dreams, he whispers that he's coming for me, that he wants to finish what he started, that he
God, that man
needs to see inside
Bro,
me.
that man was done from the get-go, fam. My life.
I was halfway through my second cup of coffee when the call came. It was Mrs. Gallagher, my daughter's homeroom teacher.
Oh, bro.
While sobbing,
Shit.
she told me the school was in lockdown as a mad high schooler got in with a gun. The mug fell from my hand and shattered
Yeah,
on
I'm
the
getting my
kitchen
gun.
tile.
I'm good
I
over
grabbed
there.
my keys and raced out the door, already dialing 911.
This is
I
good
ignored the traffic
animation,
laws. The
Jimmy.
only thing in my head was Bloom, my daughter, my
Wait, when
only
they gonna
child.
crash?
She was all that was left of my wife Claire, who died.
Wait, that don't
5
even
years
make
ago.
sense. How the
I
hell
raised Bloom alone,
that traffic
shielding
work?
her from everything.
Uh-huh.
And now she was still in a school with a kid with a gun. The outside of the school was in total chaos. Police cruisers, ambulances, and fire trucks blocked the road with their flashing lights illuminating the pavement with violent streaks of red and blue. Officers in tactical gear yelled orders into the radio. Parents were gathered at the barricade yelling for their children. I shoved through the crowd.
I'm
barely
going in
able to
regardless,
breathe.
bro. It's my
Derek,
kid.
step back.
My kid,
It was
bro.
Officer Brady from my neighborhood. I grabbed his sleeve, my voice raw. "My daughter's in there. She has asthma. She could suffocate. Let me in." He shook his head firmly. We have it under control.
Loud.
You need to stay back. You don't understand, I hissed. If she panics, she could collapse. She needs me. Brad's expression didn't soften. We'll get her out. You just have to let us do our job. For a moment, I stood there,
I don't care.
fists
I'm good.
clenched and my
I'm
body
good. You
shook
got
with
arrested
helpless
for-
rage. I could hear the cries of
TrikzAM.
parents ringing in my ears, but I was not going to be still while my daughter was in there. I slipped back away from the crowd and gingerly walked around to the back of the building. I discovered the loading dock, which was completely empty.
Oh, that just
There were no
looks like a
officers
cell.
and no
fam.
barricade. That's when I saw it. A window,
Yeah, that
slightly
just looks
open,
like a cell,
big
bro.
enough for me to squeeze through. I didn't hesitate. I pushed the window up,
No
climbed
weapons
up
as
onto
well.
the ledge and fell
In
inside.
case he's in the
My
basement.
hands stung after the fall, but I didn't care. I was inside the building. The hallway was dark, with flashing emergency alarms projecting dim red lights. The sounds of faint sirens wailed in the background, but were muffled by the heavy silence. I moved slowly, hugging the wall.
Man,
My
slow.
breath
I'm
came fast
sprinting.
and shallow. Every step felt too loud. Suddenly, a loud
Oh,
gunshot
so
made my
God.
ears ring. Down the corridor, windows shattered, sending glass cascading onto the tile. My legs locked for half a second, but then I moved, faster now, toward Bloom's classroom. I knew precisely where it was. Turn left,
Who's that, the mannequin?
room 214. I spotted her through the window. She was crouched under a desk with 4 other children. Her little fingers held onto her inhaler, but she was gasping too much to use it currently. Her lips were pale, and her chest rose and fell in small, short breaths. I didn't care if I exposed myself. I opened the door. Bloom! I hurried to her and got to my knees. Her eyes widened in recognition, but there was no voice. Her fingers were fumbling with the inhaler. Breathe, not baby, just like we practice. I could hear the shake in my voice, nice and slow. Her hands were too shaky. I took her small hands and guided the inhaler to her lips. Take a deep breath. Hold. Okay, count to 3. That's my girl. Behind me, a boy maybe 10 years old pulled at my sleeve, barely supported by his voice. He's coming. I stiffened. Footsteps. Heavy. Slow.
I'm
deliberate.
swearing.
The shadow appeared first,
So you left the door open?
scratching against the wall.
Imagine if he knows it.
Then he stepped into view.
My man has a shotgun.
Probably no more than 17 or 18. His face was still a mess of zits, but his eyes were empty. He was carrying a shotgun in his
A
hands.
shotgun.
His eyes were flicking to the classroom door. He couldn't see me yet. Move, Derek. Now. I shoved Bloom into the wall, leaning against her. He lifted the gun and fired. The tube lights overhead shattered, exploding glass. The kids screamed, crying under their desks. Bloom was holding on to me, squeezing my arm with her fingernails. I didn't think. I lunged. Hey! I yelled, grabbing a chair and throwing it at him. The metal legs smashed into his ribs and he stumbled backwards, the shotgun falling out of his hands. Run! I screamed. The children took off, gripping one
let me
another,
guess, he wasn't even him,
sobbing,
innit?
finding their way to the hallway.
If it was him, that guy's a
Legs weren't
flipping
holding her,
idiot.
and her air was short, but she still moved, breath short and quick. Go, baby, don't stop! I shouted. The assailant regained his footing, charging me into the wall.
A 17-year-old.
I hit my head on the plaster and my
A
eyesight
17-year-old.
blurred.
I'm
He was
flipping
on top
doing
of
it.
me, fists flying. I could taste blood. My ribs were
Yo,
screaming
this
at
guy
me.
weak as
My
hell.
fingers closed around something cold sometime during the fight. The shotgun. I squeezed it and swung it wholeheartedly. Bone broke. Blood splattered. He sagged onto the tile, moaning. I outstretched my arm as I rolled off the floor. My ribs were writhing, and my knees wanted to fold in on themselves, but I forced myself to move. As I staggered out of the building, the first thing I saw was Bloom in Officer Brad's arms, crying uncontrollably with her face buried in his chest. Bloom! I yelped, my voice cracking. Her head snapped up. She broke free from Brad's hold and ran toward me, arms outstretched. I held on to her, gripping her so tightly. I worried that I might break her. I felt her tears soak my shirt. I kissed her forehead, again and again, swallowing back my own tears. I'm here, baby, I have you. You're safe. She was alive. She was safe. so was I.
Fair enough. Nah, fair. But he almost lost at 17 though. That's big age. You have to respect it though. It's big age though. You have to respect it, innit?